started a learning workshop. Now, we'd already had mentors trained, and the mentors had been trained to help understand hidden disabilities, understand how to work with prisoners, how to work with Lexion, because Lexion was one of the softwares that I was using to test. We was also using the Banga test. So all these were screening tests. We were using 3 or 4 screening tests to find out what these men needed help with. So the idea was to actually put a learning workshop, and this was not in education. This was not in education at all, because I found that as soon as these men were in education, they stifled, they were scared to admit anything. You know, they didn't want another prisoner laughing at them later on in the day. So what we did, we found again another room in the prison, and this was actually on G-Wing. And G-Wing was where all the prisoners actually had jobs, so they actually went out to work. So there would be nobody really on that wing. So that was the idea to take. We had, you know, probably 5 prisoners who were dyslexic, had issues and challenges, and we had 5 mentors who we brought in to work with the prisoners. Now, we literally started off with the screening tests, which are the dyslexia, the tests for the Lexion, and all the other tests that we was using, the Banga. And so we were helping them with that. Then we were looking at where they were now, what sort of jobs they had. But we made this really fun. You know, we brought in lots of games. We were doing building. We were talking. We were doing charades. We wanted them to see that this was fun. Also, while they were working in this project, they were also gravitating to their mentor. This was the best thing I could find, so that men could start trusting their mentor who they were going to work with. So this was a really sort of fun lesson, and this lesson went on for 3 sessions, 2.5 hours in each session, and it went over 1.5 days, because by the 4th session that we had, we used that as the interview. We wanted to give them an individual learning plan, so that all these tests, everything that we'd done with them and assessments, had actually gone in a folder. As we interviewed them, they would be able to take them with them. So when they went to the next prison, they would be able to take it there, and then everybody could see the type of work they needed to need to help them. And that's why I put this literally together. Now, what I want to tell you is a really great story about, I'm going to take Jinx, because I think Jinx is going to let me tell you his story, because you can see on our YouTube his mother is talking about him. So I'm going to tell you Jinx's story to end this video. Now, Jinx was told to come to our learning workshop through one of the officers. The officers had again heard about me, see what we were doing, and they asked him to come along and to see if I could help him. So now Jinx had a head injury. He didn't really have dyslexia. I'm going to be honest about this story. He didn't have dyslexia. He was actually a head injury. One of our students. Now, he had a head injury at 11. He was now in his 40s. And when I met him, his teeth was all rotten. He looked absolutely terrible. He had been in prison in and out for over 40 times. So he had gone in, come out, and nobody had actually dealt with his issue of what was actually going on. So at the 11, he had the head injury. He had been told at 28 he had some type of head injury through lots of x-rays. He was very violent, very aggressive, because he just didn't understand what was going on. And so by the time I met him, he was in his 40s. And as I say, he came to the class and we sat and we worked with him. We did all these assessments on him. And we could tell that he was so bright, he was so intelligent. But there were certain things that he was missing. He couldn't tell when he woke up what the time was. He didn't know if it was morning, night, so that was one thing. We found out also he had problems with patterns. But again, this was the assessment tools that we was using to help him. And also, I started to explain to him all about my son's head injury. and what he had gone through, and the life and the ideas and how he had changed and the personality change and the frustration. And I told Jinx, everybody, all these men, the stories of, dyslexia, head injury, ADHD, how, it could affect them and affect their lives. So they had more knowledge about their disabilities. Jinx left the class that afternoon like everybody else did, and it wasn't until the morning when I got back into prison, and all of a sudden he's sitting outside, he's with his stool, and his eyes are so bright. He's shaved, he looked so different. This was a different man who I'd met the day before. And I'm saying, please tell me, what's happened? What's happened? What did you do? What happened? And he explained to me, he said normally he would go back to his cell and he would do all the homework. But all of a sudden, everything that I'd said about my own son, about the things that's happened to him, and all of a sudden, Jinx got it. He wasn't alone anymore. He had had head injury. He had had all these problems, and nobody had listened. Nobody had understood him. Nobody didn't know how to help him. And because of my experience of what my son's gone through, I could share that. And it just, again, that light bulb moment, we're getting quite a few now, but that light bulb moment just went like that. And he got it. This man changed. He so changed. And all of a sudden, my mentors and myself, we all sat there and we said, this is a great guy. We need him to become a mentor. And that's literally how Jinx started on this project. And what he did afterwards, he came through with us the whole week. A lot of my mentors was trying to help him through on his cell, going off to some of his workplaces with him. We wanted him to become a mentor. We could see that he had just so changed. He had understood what had happened. And he actually went on to help so many other prisoners. He went into the B and the C wing, which was really quite hard wings to work with. And he went in and he spoke to every prisoner. He wanted to ask them how he could help, what he could do. He took notes. He wanted to learn, so we were constantly giving him information. We were working with him in his cell. We were working with the mentoring side. He was just doing such great work. And of course, he had to come out of prison. And, again, as his mum says on the videos, he was in and out of prison. She was following him everywhere. And since he came out, I think it's got to be 2008, 2009. Since he's come out, he has not gone back inside again, ever. He's on medication. He's got a fantastic girlfriend. I have met them all. I've met the family. I am just so happy that this guy now has got a life. He is doing great things. He's trying to help so many other people. He wants to get involved with this project. So I'm going to leave this story today with you this one's about Jinx and the greatness that he's done and how many people now he is helping by talking about his story. So I'd like to say thank you today, and I'm going to be seeing you very soon. And bye for now. Bye.